here with the scoop on all this morning. They never actually disappeared, but they were far from as popular as they had been.
Yeah, far from as popular, because if you look
now,
the comeback now is really attributed to two.
Rate in and of itself is so ideal candidate for an arm.
So the ideal candidate, and the data that we got out just this week shows that existing home sales.
But given all of those issues, if you still think this is the that no matter what happens, if you can't sell that home, you can afford that maximum lifetime cap.
Exactly.
All right, great advice.
Thanks,
as
Erica.
always, Rebecca, thanks. He and Richard Burton wrote to one another, and wow.
Yeah, and it's amazing that passion that they had between one another played out on film as well, because when they acted alongside one another, you could really see it as well. Also ahead here this morning, one of the joys of going to the movies is what they think about this.
Of course, it's not the money of actually putting up the information. It will be the money lost, perhaps, on popcorn sales.
When you see how many calories are in a large bucket, if you put a little butter on, it's going to cause a number of people to say, maybe I'll pass.
Enjoy it while you can.
Wait until you hear these numbers, really.
First, though, we want to get to Jeff Glore. He's standing by at the news desk with passionate, incredible love, which you, Nancy, got a better feel for, because Liz Taylor let you see some of these love letters, which were just astounding, the honesty that they shared with one another.
Yes, we're so grateful.
She is, it seems to be an addiction of his, one that he just cannot kick.
Well, he was no stranger to it. Her career spanned almost 7 decades.
It was literally right before he passed.
Yes, right, and he mailed it before.
Them, because they had this very, as we just saw in that 60 Minutes, such extraordinary access that you were given. It's the one thing that surprised this morning.
Just a number, specifically popcorn. If you want to talk about the numbers, a bucket of popcorn for about $6. Take a guess at how much? 15 to 20 cents. 15 to 20 cents. So talk about a profit margin. So they're thinking you put those calorie numbers up, those profit.
At a movie theater yesterday, and I did just happen to look up.
Right.
And I saw Chicken McNuggets, 875 calories. And then the sauces were about 200 each. Not that I was going to order them anyway, but it is a deterrent.
Yes.
Let's again break it down, though. This large bucket of popcorn with butter, the equivalent of 3 Big Macs.
Yeah, 3 Big Macs, 4 is your preferences.
I would, you know, knowing that equivalent is the equal about it. Taryn, thank you. Good to see you. Rebecca Jarvis is back with some ideas to help you pay for college, because these prices are staggering, and these poor kids and families, they sit around, they wait to get these acceptance letters. The euphoria of you got into the school of your choice is quickly tamped down by the fact it's going to cost me about 30 grand a year, potentially.
Yeah, and the first thing you need to do
will qualify for financial aid. But you really do you kind of have to appeal to some of these places, these schools, and make a case for yourself.
Yeah, you do. And
make a few appeals, make a few calls, and you never know. The worst any school can say is no.
Yeah, and they're not going to say you can't come here because you called us up.
All right, for parents who are still a few years, better to dip into your nest egg, or do you go another route and maybe drop into that 401k or something along those lines?
Never dip into the nest egg. If you
people that want to start planning now, really start planning out way in advance, what are some steps that they can take?
One of them.
We'll be right there for you. Rebecca Jarvis, thank you very much.
Thanks.
I mean, there would be that many items, because we love our pets.
We do love our pets. It is a 43.
You're making Molly walk on a treadmill instead. I have to be honest. Poor Molly, I feel so bad for her.
Let me tell you the rationale behind a treadmill.
Right.
First of all, this is the Go Pet Pet Run treadmill. If you have a dog that perhaps doesn't like to go out in inclement weather, or you live in the part of the country where winter is 6 months of the year.
Where poor Molly would sink into the snow.
Right, exactly. This might make sense. Or if you're an older pet owner and you simply just cannot physically move as much as the dog needs to move, then there's some intuitive reasons for a treadmill.
Are most animals, I mean, Molly's been very good about, are most animals pretty good about getting on?
Yeah, it's a slow acclimation process. But Molly came in about an hour and a half ago. It took us about maybe 15 minutes with some treats, and boom, there she is.
Never hurts. I'm sure there were plenty of those on hand at the expo.
Yeah.
This, though, okay, that's one thing. This is a giant hamster wheel for a dog?
Yes.
Or a cat?
This is either a hamster that'll eat you or a small dog.
I don't want that hamster.
This is the Go Pet. This takes time to get a dog to get acclimated to this and to get into this. I'm not so sure that the average dog will do it, but it was different and it was unique.
It's fun to talk about, right?
Absolutely. Because for 2 reasons. This is the yard pup.
I was going to say, this is like after the snow is cleared in the spring, and you go out and you realize that there's some stuff you couldn't get to.
Exactly.
There you go.
Use regular grocery bags. You put it in on this frame, and then you can go and clean up the work around perhaps some limitations that you might have.
Good
and
option.
for the squeamish person who just doesn't want to be anywhere near the dew,
then you don't have to be near it.
Then you don't have to be near it.
And you're still doing your job, as you mentioned, because remember, please pick up after your pets, because I don't like stepping in.
That's right. Now, for the creative right brain, actually get the paint, and then you don't have paint all over your carpet. But if you want art by
This is, I have to say, some people might love them. Those towers for the cats